Ralph Macchio has recently been making headlines once again after starring in the Netflix original series Cobra Kai. He had his first big break in the 1980s when he starred in the Karate Kid series. However, with Ralph at the top of the charts once again, we've dug up some little-known facts about this veteran actor that we guarantee will change the way you look at him from now on. Before we get started, be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell for more videos. We all know and love Ralph Macchio. He's been in the acting business for longer than most of us have been alive. However, did you know that he got his start in acting way back in the 1970s? We don't know too much about this time in his career, but Ralph has spoken about his first few acting jobs in several interviews over the years. He says he started appearing in television advertisements as early as 1979, and he appeared in a Bubble Yum ad that first premiered in 1980. In this ad, you can see Ralph running and dancing around while singing about bubblegum. Definitely an interesting role for Ralph. But hey, everyone has got to get their start somewhere, right? Another little-known fact is that Ralph found mainstream success when he appeared in the film adaptation of The Outsiders. This book was a massive success and the movie was equally successful, bringing in more than $30 million when it premiered in 1983. A lot of people recognize Matt Dillon and others from the movie, but very few people realized that Ralph Macchio was in this film. And he did an amazing job portraying Johnny Cade. It was around this time that Ralph was entering his teen years and started to really dive deeply into the rock and roll music scene. While he never really pursued music as a career, he certainly found a few bands that he was particularly fond of, his most favorite being Bruce Springsteen. Bruce has become somewhat of a musical legend in more recent years, and Ralph has been a fan of his music since day one. He listened to him all throughout the 80s and continues to listen to him to this day. He's such a big fan that Ralph revealed that he has probably seen Bruce Springsteen live in concert at least 20 times over the years. To call Ralph a superfan would be a massive understatement. I just can't even imagine what it would be like to see Ralph in the crowd, fangirling over Bruce Springsteen. But hey, we all have our guilty pleasures, and Bruce has put out some seriously amazing music over the years. Even though Ralph is always seen as a tough guy on television and in movies, he definitely has a soft side. Ralph has spoken in a few interviews about a time when he saved a stranded porpoise on the shores of a Malibu beach. He says he didn't want any recognition for doing this because it was just the right thing to do, but fans quickly noticed who he was and started talking about it. So it felt it was best to own up to it and admit that, yes, he was the one who saved this poor, defenseless animal. I'm not sure why he'd want to keep something like this quiet, but he seems like a pretty quiet guy. So to each their own.
When I hit a curb with my bike and then it hit me, I wore the glasses because I didn't want you to worry. It looks worse than it feels.
Don't do that. It's going to make it worse.
It doesn't hurt.
Say what you want about Ralph, but he seems to have a heart of gold. He's gotten a lot of flack over the years, with some people feeling as though he's a bit too headstrong about his roles in Karate Kid. He's been offered several similar roles over the years and always turned them down. However, he says he did this because he didn't want to risk tarnishing this amazing reputation of the Karate Kid series. You may be shocked to know that Ralph didn't originally want to sign on for the Cobra Kai series. He felt as though the Karate Kid movies ended in a great place, so he didn't want to continue the story in any way, especially not without the original crew and writers. It took the producers and creators several weeks to get Ralph to agree to perform in Cobra Kai. They met with Ralph to have lunch on several occasions and spoke with him for more than an hour on the phone on several occasions before he eventually gave in and agreed to do the series. I have to admit, I can definitely understand why he would have been so apprehensive at the start. You have to keep in mind, the series originally premiered on YouTube Red. Most people had no idea what YouTube Red was at the time, so it must have been super strange for a team of producers to come up to him and ask, "Hey, you're that famous actor from the 80s. Wanna be in a YouTube video?" I'm definitely glad he eventually agreed to do Cobra Kai, but we can't be too hard on him for being so apprehensive.
Yeah, leave one.
Stinks, man. What is this?
Smell bad, hear good.
I can't imagine what Cobra Kai must be like without having Pat Morita present, and it's possible that Pat's death is what made Ralph feel like the Karate Kid series should be left alone. After all, Pat, better known as Mr. Miyagi, was one of the main characters who starred alongside Ralph throughout the whole series. When he passed away, it must have taken a major toll on Ralph. Ralph kept himself together and showed up to Pat Morita's funeral, delivering a touching eulogy. We don't know what Ralph said in his speech, and it would be a bit disrespectful to ask, but Ralph had a lot of respect for Pat and thought of him as a sincere friend. It's not often that you hear about Hollywood actors actually becoming friends behind the scenes, but Ralph really did look up to Pat Morita.
Drink and then we get the hell out of here. So,
even with Pat Morita out of the picture now, Cobra Kai is shaped up to be an amazing series. Ralph has given the show his all. He was definitely somewhat concerned that the new series would not tell the story of Johnny Lawrence rather than continue the story of Daniel LaRusso. But he says he's a big fan of how the writers have carried the show up until now. He says that in the films, Johnny was always portrayed as a villain. However, the movies never took the time to explore how Johnny ended up the way he did and how he became such a jerk. Ralph says he's very excited to see how the writers have tackled this issue and turned one of Hollywood's most notorious villains into a normal, everyday guy. Some people may even consider him a hero. Ralph loves that the story has gone this direction and wouldn't have it any other way.
this is where I almost lost the fear.
What do you mean? When?
You may think you love seeing Ralph on the big screen and television, but it seems like he's even more of a stud in real life. He and his wife got married when they were quite young, but the two are still madly in love with each other to this day. They've been married for more than 33 years and have no plans of switching things up. His wife is crazy about him, and Ralph shared with Us Weekly that his parents are in a similar boat. Not only are his parents both still alive, which is a feat on its own, but they're happily married as well. He says they have been in love for more than 61 years, and it seems like they will likely stick it out for the long haul.
How'd the meeting go?
I'm still working on it, but
At the end of the day, Ralph may be one of the most popular movie stars of all time, but he's also just an ordinary guy. He loves filming television shows and doing interviews, but at the end of the day, he still goes home to his wife and snuggles up in a warm bed like the rest of us. He may play one of Valley's best and baddest karate instructors, but he's just your normal husband and dad. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell for more videos.